What cheer, y'all? Well, we're going to continue on with our individual Derby contender profiles with Sovereignty, the Bill Mott trainee, the late closer. He is certainly one of the, he's been my second selection behind journalism as far back as I can remember. This horse has been impressive since 2 years old, winning the Street Sense at Churchill Downs. Which has turned out to be a pretty damn good race. It's produced the Louisiana and the Arkansas Derby winners. Nothing to sneeze at whatsoever. Trained by Bill Mott. You can't ask for a better trainer. I know he hasn't, he has a Derby win, but not officially. I mean, it was through DQ, but it's really the only thing left on Bill Mott's resume. He's a Hall of Famer. He's about as good as you're going to get. So Sovereignty is certainly in very capable hands. Junior Alvarado is the jockey. I'll assume he's going to be well enough to ride him, but we'll see what we'll see on those lines. But certainly one of the top contenders for sure. Take a look at the pedigree. It screams two turns all day. Into Mischief on top, Crowned underneath. She's by Bernardini. Bernardini sires excellent dams. Good stamina there. And the second mare is Mushka, who was a stakes winner around two turns in her own right. And she's by Empire Maker, who is another one who could run all day. So there's plenty of stamina underneath. For those of you who might have a question about Into Mischief, I think I have no concerns whatsoever as far as Sovereignty getting 1.25 miles. Look at the dosage profile again. Don't put a whole lot of stock into it. It's at 4.33. That would ordinarily be borderline, but again, as we've mentioned in prior posts, because Into Mischief certainly would be a chef de race at this point, as well as Harlan's Holiday, and they're not because they don't keep track of it anymore. Bernardini, same thing, and that would certainly change the dosage profile, and it also increase the genetic strength value score, that GSV number. 51.09 would be considered a little low, but again, in today's climate, it's not as influential a number as it once was. So please keep that in mind. I say that because I've heard some comments, primarily about dosage index, and again, have to remember that they're not as accurate as they used to be because they don't keep track of the chefs de race. So when you see a high dosage number, don't put a whole lot of stock into it. Think about more the sire and the dam, like their average winning distances, and maybe the get that they've sired and their overall record, and that's going to give you a better impression, I think. So just throw that out there as something to consider. Look down at the Conduit mare profile, and you do see a lot of stamina underneath, as we expected. You got a 7 solid and 4 professional. That's excellent. However, there's a lot of intermediate speed influence, which would make the overall profile skewed a hair towards speed. So you see 13 to 11. But again, seeing those influences down below, and then you look at the triads, you see 22 in the middle. So this horse is bred for classic distances, and that's the thing to take away from it. So again, it's not something to worry about. But again, this is a chart. I know a lot of you don't subscribe to Pedigree Query, and so this gives you a lot of extra information, and I wanted you to have that for your reference later on. Take a look at the past performances, and you can look at 2 years old and you see that nice progression just the way you want it, right? You get the class rating increasing 16 to 117 to 119, and then the race rating 113, 113, 115. So everything going just right. You see the numbers getting better, the horse managing speed well, culminating with the Street Sense, who beat Tistastic and Sandman. And again, so that's become a key race to consider. And it never hurts to have a victory over the oval at Churchill before you get to the Derby. You see the Fountain of Youth picked right up where he left off and continued the progression. We were all surprised at that. And did have more of a run-up than usual, which makes it not quite as impressive. But again, regardless, Gulfstream being a speed-favoring track, I think closing in with a short stretch does certainly is a feather in in Sovereignty's cap. Now, the Florida Derby, you see that he didn't progress, but he didn't regress either. I don't really think he did. I just don't think he was tuned up all the way because the Derby's in mind. And you'd notice this if you've been keeping an eye on it. A lot of trainers have been doing this. Burnham Square is one to as a reference in comparison, ran a lights out Holy Bull, and then the Fountain of Youth was okay but not great, and then came right back in the Bluegrass and ran a big one. You see Tapan Street ran in the Holy Bull, skipped the Fountain of Youth, came back and ran a really nice Florida Derby. So it seems to be a pattern a lot of trainers are doing. Maybe that second prep, they're kind of taking it easy or backing them up a little bit, not turning them up all the way so they'll be primed for the Derby. And I think that's what's going on here. So I'm not going to give, I'm not going to worry terribly much about the Florida Derby being not quite what we expected. You do see the running lines. The description was gaining, and he was. And so add another eighth of a mile to that, and he'd be flying. And when he's tuned up all the way, I think he's going to be right there. So I don't give that a whole lot of concern, and especially when Bill Mott is training. But I expect him to be one of the better horses in the at Churchill Downs training for the race. So Sovereignty, I think, looks pretty damn good coming in here. Our first take, positives, Pedigree, all day long, 2 turns, Derby, not worried. Progression, he's doing exactly what he's supposed to do, getting better with each start. And we talked about the Florida Derby, why I don't think it's a worry. Got a key race win, the Street Sense at Churchill Downs. I can't think of how many times I've seen a horse who won at Churchill Downs at 2 come back and win the Derby. Giacomo, I think, was one of them, if I remember correctly, at 50-1. But it's an added feather in the cap because they have familiarity with the surface, of course. What are the negatives? Pace dependent, I'm not so sure. I mean, he is, because he's a late runner. And that, that coupled with running style, that's a concern. But let's also remember that he ran at Gulfstream on a speed favoring track where the pace wasn't lightning fast, but it favored early runners, and yet he was still able to run well. So, to me, when a horse is classy as classy as Sovereignty is, sometimes those things don't really matter. Just as a reference, and again, this is not a comparison before anybody comments about it. When Secretariat ran in the Derby, he was last. The pace was okay. It wasn't really fast. It wasn't really slow either. And he was able to get the job done. I am not saying Sovereignty is comparable to Secretariat, but the scenario is. This is a really classy horse. I think he could overcome it. However, if we look at what we've got for pace for the Derby this year, I'm not sure it's going to be quicker than average because it always is. Is it going to be lightning fast? Well, we'll see what Admired Daytona does, because the Japanese always seem to love to bring the horses here and just act like a quarter horse out of the gate. But anyway, it's a concern. I don't want to say it isn't, but I think it's one that Sovereignty can overcome in the Derby. Really, the bigger concern for me is working out a trip. He's going to be at the back. He's also going to have 3 or 4 other horses at the back. And when that happens, a lot of times it can be difficult to work out a trip because there's more traffic than if he was just the lone closer where he can sweep around. So obviously the field of 20, there's more potential for problems, for potholes. It's fraught with peril, as we say, because just the nature of the race. But they've all got that issue, right? Everybody has to work out a trip. So it's a concern. Maybe a little more so than for other horses because he's at the back. But I think without a doubt, Sovereignty is one of the top 4 contenders, and he's a solid second choice to me to win the Derby at first light. Just at looking at it preliminarily. We'll see what happens when we get into a deeper dive, but I'm pretty sure our opinion isn't going to change. Well, I hope this helps you with your own assessment of Sovereignty, and Please take a look at the other Derby Contender profiles we've got out already, and we're going to continue on with our stream, and we'll have more. We'll do them all, and then we'll get into our elements of handicapping, form, class, speed, and pace. I'm guessing we will probably have that probably early next week or the middle of next week. We will start with that, and then we'll try to put something together for the Oaks as well. Time permitting, my schedule's going to be a little tight, but we'll try to get that out for you. It's it's Derby season, so it's hectic. We can expect that. If you do like content like this, of course, please like and subscribe. And again, thanks to all of you who have come on board. Keep those comments coming. Loving that. We're really becoming a really strong community that talks to each other, and I couldn't be happier about it. So thank you for that. So that's it from here. I'll talk to you soon, and until then, be well.